So how's everybody doing? It's been an interesting week. We've got another games and stock stream. I made a few moves. I've been making moves every week, pretty much on the same thing for a little while now. I wanted to talk a little bit about that and then go check out Befallen again, because I did that a few episodes ago, but wasn't quite high enough, didn't have a group, was too distracted, all that kind of stuff. So right now, I just want to quickly get into the stock that I was looking at. And the main stock I was looking at was the SPY. Now, I wasn't trading the SPY. I was actually trading inverse plays on the SPY. So whatever the SPY did, these plays did the opposite. So I figured the SPY was going to pump. And that means that this inverse play, which, let me go in here. Actually, I went with two of them, but the most recent one was XPSS. So if you look at that, you just saw what the SPY was doing. I mean, you can see it on this page. It's been pumping up to this high volume level up here. This one's been dropping. And I have this on the hourly candle, so each one of these candles represents 1 hour of time. And you can see this volume right here, all these green bars, this would be the main trading day, so this would have been Friday. And this low volume here where you basically don't see anything would be after hours. So there's trading that goes on after hours, but it's such low volume that you don't see much of it. Like over here, you can see there's just a tiny little bit. But overall, these plays dropped, and that's what I expected. So I had puts galore on these things. This one, SPXU, I looked at some stuff that was on the SPY and the NASDAQ, but I just didn't really want to get into those because they were so high priced. And I'd already made good money on the trades that I made before. So if you look at this, let me go back to the SPY real quick. So if you look at this, over the last week or so, we've pumped hard. So we hit this high volume level. That's what this line is right here. I set lines on the three highest volume levels in this range that we've been trading in for the past year and a half now. And we pumped up to it after the Fed meeting when everything kind of went the way we thought it was going to go. It hit it, and it went below it, came back up, tested it with a slightly lower high, and then just fell down for a few days. And this is when people were super bearish. And I thought, okay, perfect. Saw this one little pump right here. This was a nice green squeeze. And I looked at that and went, ooh, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to be in on this one. So I waited a little bit, hoping that it wasn't going to come back, and I was right. So this one was luck. When this came down, I was thinking about it the whole time. I was like, I let it drop, let it drop, let it drop, look for a bounce. Well, this kind of scared me because I thought, oh man, this big bounce means that we could have some more. But it came down and continued to drop. And when we had these lows down in here, I was loading up on these puts for XPSS, XPSU, looking at the SPY, but not really doing much on that. I had some trades on Virgin Galactic, but I took those off before they did their space flight. I actually took those off on Monday because it was going to be sometime between Tuesday and Friday that we didn't really know, which is why I didn't want to be in it just in case, I don't know, they launched it and it blew up or something. Because I had some calls. I was looking for a bounce. And then after I dumped those, I had some puts looking for a drop. And the puts did okay. They didn't really do very much, so I just dumped them on Monday with basically a break even on all of those. Maybe a little profit on some, but not enough to really matter. So that went well to the upside and the downside, and then the continuation didn't really do much. So that was fine. Playing a thing two ways and getting extremely lucky was great. That's what I talked about last time. So this time, down here, I grabbed these puts on SPXS. It's hard to say. So I had those puts when it was riding high up here around 15. I grabbed the 15 puts, which I usually don't grab the really close to the monies, but this one was just, I mean, these are cheap. It's a $13 stock or $14 stock at the moment, and the options are not very expensive. So I started loading up on these like crazy, and boom, what do you know? Here's the thing though. So I loaded up on them, and it came down, and they were barely up because I had some in the monies, and then I had a couple of 14s. So where it is right now, so the 14s, because I had those before around this drop, and when it bounced, they kind of just went from whatever. I think I bought them for like 20 or 30, and they went down to like 10 or 11. So I went, okay, great. That sucks. I'm not going to deal with those, but I just sat on it, and lucky I did because I reloaded in here when I was getting all these other ones. Like one account I had the 15s, and the other account I had the 14s, and 15 was a decent amount right here. I think I took some profit on at least like a couple of contracts within this, and then held everything else. I held the majority of them. Those 14s, I didn't touch them. I let it come down. And then today, I just unloaded most of it. I unloaded half of pretty much everything. So the 15s are basically gone, and I still have a half of the 14s left. And those ended up tripling. The 14s ended up tripling in value. So the 15s, I didn't have as many 15s. I really wish I went harder on them, but I was just thinking of the fact that I'd already made so much. I didn't really want to lean into this. I leaned into a play before, and I don't really like leaning into multiple plays because that doesn't always work out. I mean, when you have gains and then you lean into something, you tend to lose those gains, and it sucks to feel like that. You feel so good for a little while, and then you just lose it right away. It's just one of the worst, man. It's almost as bad as being right and still losing money. That's probably I think that's the worst one you can have, is when you trade options and you're absolutely right about something, but you still lose money because you buy the wrong strikes. You don't buy them at the right time, whatever it is, if you're going long. Or you sell options and things move so violently that the premium doesn't shrink enough for you to benefit on that. So anyway, I dumped half these XPSS puts because they were looking so nice. I mean, when we squeezed up in the markets back to that high volume area, I thought this is a good place to unload most of them. We could still go. All right, so I think there might be some gas left in the tank, but here's the thing. A lot of this was a Friday squeeze. Traders don't like to hold things going into the weekend because Fridays are your last chance to get out before uncertainty comes in. Over the weekend, something could happen. That means Monday, the stock market moves before you're able to trade. Now, if you're trading shares, you can move them around after hours. But if you're trading options, you can only move them around during trading hours, which means you are stuck watching what happens after hours, hoping that it goes in your direction. That's basically what I've been doing. I got rid of the SPCE. Let's jump to that real quick. That's Virgin Galactic. Man, caught this pump right here. Dumped them. Caught the drop. Dumped. Actually, wait, no. I caught this pump, and then it dropped, and it pumped again, and that was when I got the put. So yeah, I took advantage of this first pump, and then which sucked because I had let go of some long-term calls that I'd had on this for a little while back here somewhere, and only had a few up in here, barely any. I mean, most of them were gone by this point because it hadn't really been doing anything, and I've been holding them for almost a year. I'd say like 9-10 months. Been holding these things, and they were just not looking good. And I saw an opportunity to get out at break even. Actually, I got out at a slight profit on most of them. I think I took some at break even and some with a slight profit, thinking like, all right, I got something. But I only had a few going into this. Took the profits. That was nice. Saw the drop in the bounce, lower high. It's Virgin Galactic. I know this stock. It just behaves like this. It has these big violent pumps, and it doesn't hold. Because there's so much debt in the company. They added shares. I somewhere in here, wherever this, I don't know if it was here or here, but I had some puts, and after hours, I think it was like the day of or the day after buying those puts, they announced an offering. So they're offering shares to raise money to continue doing what they need to do, which dilutes the float, meaning that all your shares are worth less. So people sell when that happens, and that drops the price even more. So that was lucky. That was amazing to get a share offering right after buying some puts. It was just super lucky. And when you're doing well, it's good to make trades that you feel are good trades and think are good trades. Like when your heart, your gut, and your mind align with a trade and you're having good luck, it's good to continue with that. When you're not having good luck, it's best to back off. Now, a couple of months ago, I was not having good luck. I was breaking even. I was losing bits of money. I was winning rare trades, and the wins were not very much. That was when I even mentioned it on stream. I said, I'm just going to take a step back. I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm mostly in cash. I still am mostly in cash. But at the time, I was in cash because I was having bad luck, and I didn't really want to push that kind of thing. Now, you can believe in luck, you can not believe in luck. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that when you are on a roll with something and you're doing well, you're seeing the market well, you're reading the market well, it's good to go with that. And when you're not, it's good to back off because that's how you lose money. It's more about maintaining your money than winning. That's how you stay in the game long enough to continue moving up through the levels. So I had a really good start to the year. I slowed down a bit, had a pretty bad couple of months. And then, well, not really pretty bad. It was like break evens and little losses are not really bad. But when you're doing well, it's a lull. It's a slump. So I was in a slump. I backed off a little bit. I waited, and then we had a chance with the debt ceiling. We had a chance with the Fed meeting, and both of those were binary events. That I mean, the debt ceiling you knew was going to pass. That one's easy. If you're paying attention to all the media hype around it, then you're going to be confused. You're going to think the world's ending and it's all over. Right. But if you're paying attention to the numbers, and seeing that, hey, things are not as bad as people say they are. There's the rhetoric, and then there's the actual data. If you're paying attention to the data and ignoring most of the rhetoric, like taking the rhetoric in because there is some value in that, but putting more weight on the data rather than the rhetoric. Most people put most of their weight into the rhetoric, and they don't even look at the data. That's why we have all these political arguments, because people refuse to look at statistics, studies. They only want to listen with their heart. It's not just one side, too. It's like, oh, they say liberals only listen with their heart. Well, guess what? Conservatives do the same exact thing, but they do it in different areas. So conservatives and liberals are listening to their heart and very little of their mind. And the rest of us here at the center are saying, hey, let's take a look at the data. Let's take our heart into account, but let's make sure we're being wise about the things we don't know. A lot of people think they know so much more than they actually do, and they don't want to admit that they don't know things. And that's why we're fighting, because you find these blank spots in your perspective, and you're arguing in those spots as if you know what's there. Everybody's perspective is like a window. You can only see so much out of a window. And if something's outside of the vision of that window, you don't know it, and you can't argue it. But because you're arguing with your emotions, both sides, you're going to be arguing about those parts you can't see, and you're going to be wrong. Maybe you're right about some of it, but you're probably going to be wrong about a lot of it. So I'm looking at the data. I'm listening to the parts of me that don't know things and saying, hey, I don't know. I'm going to back off on that, and I'm just going to watch the data for everything else and see what makes the best sense. And that's what I did. So I took the trades on this. I ignored most of the rhetoric. I listened to what people say because I want to see what the hype is going to be, but I didn't want to go too crazy with it. So anyway, I made some trades on this, got rid of my last ones this week on Monday because I didn't want to hold anything during that space launch, even though there was a little bit of a pump. It might have been this right here. I think this was it. Yeah, it was a pump right before the launch on Thursday, and then it dropped, and they did the offerings and all kinds of stuff like that. Or I don't remember the exact order of it, but I was just out on Monday. That's all I know. So that was decent. And then just blaze on the market. We're good. And now I'm holding a little bit of that XPSS just because I want to see if there's a continuation. The thing though is, here, let me switch back over to the SPY, and then we'll get going on some gameage today. So the thing is, though, these lines show you where the most volume is, where the most trading is. And the reason I think that's important is because people assess their risk at the point in which they traded. So if their risk is, if most people are trading in this area, their risk is here. Meaning if you sold here, this is where you're looking to, you want it to be below this. Like when it was going back down and you sold up here, you're very, very happy. And now that it's coming back up, you're starting to get FOMO again, thinking like, maybe I sold too early. I wish I'd bought down there, blah, blah, blah. And then there are the people that didn't have any, and they were seeing this, and they were chasing it on the way up. And now at this point, there are tons of sellers, so the liquidity is high. The institutions that have large amounts of shares are able to trade in this zone a little bit easier. So once you see this, you're going to see institutions dumping. You're going to see retail traders grabbing extra shares. You're going to see other institutions grabbing shares and other retail traders jumping. It's not dumping. It's not just one to one. It's a mix of everything. You have to look at the market as one whole organism along with its parts. And the whole organism was very willing to trade in this spot. You can even see when it gets up to this area, volume is high just on the day. And I don't usually talk about this volume. I'm talking about volume profile that shows you what price had the most trades. And this area right here was it. You can see it came up, bounced off, it went down. Came up, and it went a little above it, but it came right back down to it, and we're settling because this is a popular area. People who were bought in this place were selling somewhere in here. That's what I did. I got these puts, and I dumped most of them when it got up to this point. It passed it a little bit, and I went, all right, here you go. I don't want to push my luck. And I'm glad I didn't, because it came back down. Now, this could keep running. That's why I kept some, but I made a good amount on it, so I'm gonna call it good. Tripled on the ones that I held a long time, almost tripled on the other ones, so not a bad score. Good score here, good score here. Backing off a little bit, just writing some of the other. And actually, I do have a call, too. I have like one singular call as some protection, basically a hedge against moves quickly to the downside that would just murder those puts. So I'd have something. It would recover at least my capital, hopefully. Maybe, I mean, one call isn't really going to recover all of it, but if it goes down fast enough, if things move crazy enough, it could be something. So it's better than nothing. It was cheap. It'll decay away to nothing if things keep going, and I'm okay with that. That means the other ones are going to outweigh it, and they already have. But if things turn around, then at least I get something back. It's like buying cheap insurance. It's like if you could buy a piece of your car insurance instead of having to buy the whole thing every month. Just buy a little bit, because I might need something, but I'm not going to go crazy. So that was it. That's what I did this week. I was watching the stories. We had Fed Powell talking. We had we had some Supreme Court rulings. The student loan debt is still back on hold. Now this is gonna be a rough battle. That's the thing. Like, it's from the beginning, I don't think people understood how difficult this was going to be. There's so many moving parts in that it's not just as simple as like, oh, one organization or one branch of the government can just say this and then it's done. It's like, no, you have so many branches of government, so many private sectors, so many entities that are beyond those two things, all intertwined, that it's going to be a difficult battle, and it's going to cause turmoil. No matter what they do, it's going to cause turmoil because those loans are held within institutions. So those institutions are either going to have to get paid or they're going to have to take a loss. And that's what we're fighting over right now. Who's going to take the loss on this? I don't think it's going to be the big institutions that hold the loans. I have a feeling they're going to get their money, and it's going to be taxpayer money within whatever amount of time. So that will affect the market. So I'm watching that a little bit, but I'm not getting too crazy with it because I think it still has a long way to go before anything actually comes of it. Right now, it's mostly just emotion and people fighting over the specifics. So I was watching that. We had some other stuff going on. It's been very busy lately in the news. So I've been kind of just taking everything in and making the trades in the areas that I can. When you have a lot of stuff like that and it's hard to pay attention to everything, it's best to just focus on the areas that you know best. And these are the areas that I know best, these little stocks and the overall market. Boom. Forget it. I don't want to touch penny stocks. I don't want to touch any of this other stuff. I just want to trade the things that I know when they make the moves that I like. And the market made moves that I like. Okay, so now let's get to Everquest. I wanted to go check out Befallen because I went in there a little bit, but I didn't go too far in because I wasn't high enough at the time. And now I'm high enough to at least go in a little bit. And I don't have a key, do I? But that's okay. I'll go get another one. It's not that hard to get that key. So right now I'm in the common lands. I'm running over to Befallen, and we're going to go in there and just mess around a little bit before I dump off a stream. This is a different stream because I'm not in my normal spot. Things are crazy right now, and I'm doing a different kind of a stream with a different kind of setup. I got started a little bit later because I was setting everything up, and the monitor I was going to plug into had a different plug into it. It's plugged into my PC, so I wanted to switch it to the laptop, and the cord came out from the connector. And the connector's stuck in the monitor. So now I got to fish this thing out. I'm trying to start, and it's not working. So that was kind of annoying. And I had to clean off the desk because the desk was all cluttered and I couldn't do anything, and it's just a mess. So I got it going. We're here now. We're doing some Befallen stuff, and we're going to see what goes down when we go in there a little bit. Nice trades. Very happy that I made some good trades, and glad that the market is doing what it does, because this is what this is what I was thinking it would do, and it's nice when it does what you think. So right now, there's the entrance to Befallen. We're running up over there. I'm going to dive in there and see what we get. I've got some sow on. I bought some stupid potions because I'm addicted like that. I'm giving Daybreak a bunch of money from all this stuff. I know it's I shouldn't be doing that because it doesn't make that much of a difference. But you know what? I'm doing it anyway. Because I played this game I've played since '99, and I want it to be easier, right? If I can pay a little bit money to make it slightly easier and more fun, I'm gonna do it because I've already experienced pretty much everything in the original game, but I haven't experienced it in every way possible. So here we are. This stuff is gray to me now. It isn't gonna do anything. It looks like nobody's in here. Let's do a /who real quick. See who's there. I got a few people in here, higher levels, 7, 8, not too bad. I'm gonna roll over here. So to get into this door over here, you need a key from the Shadow Knight that is sitting in here. Hopefully nobody's camping it. It doesn't look like it because, well, there's corpses. So oh, right there. Wonder if he's got the key. Boom, I don't even have to fight him. Got the key. There we go. Okay. Well, normally you'd go in here. I'll just show you real quick. You go in here, you sit in there, and boom, there he is. Shadow Knight hanging out. I'm going to leave him for somebody else so that they can get the key because I already got it. And all this stuff is gray to me, so I'm not going to get any experience. It doesn't really matter. But this was a fun zone. This would have been a zone you'd go to, or a dungeon you'd go to right away. You'd be running around in Freeport or whatever, or if you were a Dark Elf, you'd be in Neriac and Nectulos Forest. And then eventually you'd make your way to this dungeon, and you'd be in the high single digits or low teens by the time you got in here. Let's back up a little bit. How we doing? Oh, there's some people right there. He's lower than me. Just going to go right past him. Hopefully I'm not disturbing too much. What I'd like to see is how far in I can actually get, because there is Look at this. We got somebody over here. They're blue. What is this stuff? Is this stuff Conan Gray still? Yeah. What do we got here? Still gray. Okay. There is not really a boss. Oh, there we go. This is green. That might actually attack me. See if I can get by it without it attacking me. Nope, it's going for me. Let's do this. And one thing will be... ooh, there's a dude right there. I don't want to take your stuff. Sorry, man, if I'm taking your stuff. So one thing that'll be nice is when I get to level 20, this extended target window right here will actually show what is attacking me besides the thing that I'm selected on. Because that's really nice to know what's actually fighting you. And right now, it's just me going with this mummy. I am actually going to go a little bit harder on it because I really don't want to get rabies. I'm not a fan of rabies. It lasts for like an hour, constantly ticking away. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just so annoying to see that tick of health constantly. And it's like dividend stocks, right? A little drip over time doesn't seem like much, but eventually it actually makes a big deal. I actually made a character that was a shaman, because shaman have DOTs and buffs and things like that, and I thought that's a good metaphor for dividend stocks. Because dividend stocks are... You know, there are people that like dividend stocks because they pay you out over time and you don't have to do anything. But what a lot of people don't realize is the dividend stocks you're going to get into most of the time are probably going to be dropping more than you're making from the yield. And people are going like, look at this thing, it's got like 14% yield and it's only $3. Well, yeah, because it fell that far. It probably was $30 and it went down to $3. And it's... if the people that were buying in the whole time have lost so much, and that 14% is not ticking up enough to give them what they lost. So let's see what's up. This guy's hanging out here. I'm just going to try to go past him. Stuff's going to attack me probably. Here we go. This one's blue. Let's get this. I'm going to kill an ogre. It's got this two-handed sword that drops and then gives you a key to go into the bottom area, which actually would probably be decent for me. Oh, it's not in there. Must be the placeholder. I'm going to go ahead and get this right here. I've got, not rabies, something else. Disease Cloud. Good. Give me Disease Cloud. That's fine. I can take 5 minutes instead of an hour. I don't mind a DOT that lasts a little bit. Oh, you're doing the same things to me I'm doing to you? Not cool. Not cool. Maybe I should bring my spells back over here so we can see what's going on. Yeah, see? Look at all this. Look at all this on me. It's doing the same stuff to me. It's not cool. I need some strength. Give me some strength. It's not giving that to me. All right, here we go. Actually getting interesting here. Life spike. Let's get it. I'm not going to be able to do this. No, dude, I'm casting stuff on that's already on there. In fact, this other thing should be DOT'd as well. Bash this thing so it can't cast on me. Oh, I went too far. I was talking, not paying enough attention. I might get myself killed, which is okay. I don't mind dying on stream. I think it's kind of fun sometimes. It's good to it's good to see the ups and the downs of all these games. You know, this is I mean, back in the day, I would have been way more careful. It sucked to die back in the day. Now, I really don't care. I mean, this is a zone that, or this is a server that's going to last a few months, and then people are going to be kind of bored of it, and a lot of people are going to quit. And there'll be some that stay. There's usually a crowd that stays, really likes it, because people get into it that haven't played in years or even decades. Every single server. There's some people. I mean, I came back a couple of years ago, and I was meeting people that were also just coming back, and I was surprised at how many. Oh, I'm dead, dude. This is gonna get me. This is gonna get me, dude. Oh, got it. Is there something behind me? Okay, good. That's the thing about first person. You're not as aware of what's going on, but I'm going to spam this crap, dude. These DOTs are hurting. Hurting. I'm gonna get this thing diseased. Get this thing siphon strength so it's not hitting me so hard. Come on, dude. What is that? Strike necessity. That's not even my actual DOT, so do that. I need some health. I need some health. I am spamming this life spike, dude. This is a crazy battle right here. Ah, man, get it. Get it. This is how it's done. Actually, this is not how it's done. I'm not playing how you should be playing this game. Well, I mean, I don't know if there's a should when you're playing a game that's for fun, but there are more efficient ways to do this. Ooh, this is close. I'm gonna get him now. I'm just gonna keep spamming. Oh, it's done. Come on, give me that help. Give me that help. Boom, got it. This is how you do it right there. Lived to fight another day. Let's have a seat. Okay, so now we play the waiting game. This is when I would normally talk about stocks, but I've already talked about them quite a bit. So I'm just going to talk about the game for a little bit. This isn't going to be a very long stream because of the fact that everything is different this week, and I'm just trying to get through it so I can get to maybe even next week's will be weird, but get to the one after that, and we can do a little bit more. I'd actually like to do some streams with other people. I'd like to do a few other things. I am going to be doing a stream with Salome Fishby here in a little bit. He wants to ask me a few questions on his stream, so I'll see what's going on there. It's going to be market-related stuff, most likely, so that'll be kind of fun. But now, that's all I wanted to do was just get in here and get to this dude. This is kind of what I wanted to do last time. There's an ogre that spawns right here that will have a key and hopefully a two-handed sword, although nobody cares about that sword. It's a super low-level thing. It doesn't sell for much, but it's just fun to actually get it. That's what I was trying to do, is just get in here and see if I could even, number one, get to this guy, and number two, if I could, and he was up, beat him. That'd be kind of cool to actually get something on stream, because so far I haven't really gotten much of anything. I've mostly just been running around leveling and exploring different areas. So it's been fun, though. I actually really like these TLP servers. It's nice to get back into the game somewhat as it was back in 99. But right now we're kind of we're in a mixture, right? Because things, number one, this is not the original UI. I'm just obsessed with AI right now. Everyone's talking about it. This isn't the original UI. There are some features, like you couldn't buy potions before. I couldn't have bought a Sal potion and an experience boost and regen and what is this one? This one's haste. You know, so I bought 4 potions to boost things a little bit. There weren't the links here, all this stuff. If you want to look at things, you can click on it and it tells you what it is. It does that with items and with spells. And then it just wasn't the same game. I mean, it's easier to do a lot now. This window up here that tells you you're poisoned and it tells you when you can rest and not, that stuff wasn't there. I don't even know if it worked like that back then. But it's a mixture, like I said. But it's been fun. I really enjoy it. I like the fact that this game is still around and there's still a decent amount of people that play it. Not like there were back in the day, but this was a massive game. I mean, this was how games are now. This was the beginning of that. There were even games at this time that weren't as good as this, that were trying to be competitors to it. And those games are still around too, at least some of them are, but they're nowhere near as popular. I mean, this is not that popular, but those ones are even less popular. If people stumble across this, then they may stumble across the other ones, but this is the one, man. This was the one that got all the hate. Everybody hated this game because it was the first time people would really obsess to the point of dying because they played the game so much. I mean, that happened with WoW. That happens with everything now. I mean, every so often there's somebody that does that. And it's not because of the game. It's because of the personality and the situation. People get into these games. They go way too hard into them, and they don't have control over their willpower. They basically get stuck in a loop where maybe their life isn't going so well. There are a bunch of problems, and they're just stuck in it. And this is where you can get rewards, because this gives you like quick dopamine hits. This game gives you the things that you need if you're not getting them in real life. And any of these games do. It's not just this game. Think about WoW. WoW is even more catered to it. And games that are coming out now are even more so than that. So that's the environment we're in now. This is old news. Nobody cares about it, except for the people that used to play it and the occasional rando that comes in and sees what's going on. But right now, I'm just waiting for my health to... Oh, what happened? I'm just waiting for my health to get back up high enough to jump in there and see if I can kill the ogre. I don't know if I'm going to be able to kill the ogre or not. But let's go in here and see. There's somebody I'm missing, right? Dreadbone. Oh, it's great. Look at that. Here we go. Sturdy skeleton. Oh, that's not going to help either. Nothing back here. You know what? I'm just going to kill it for the fun of it, because I can, while we wait. Also, that way it doesn't aggro on me if it does pop, and sometimes things hit you and stuff like that. Hey, Pono1224, very true. Yeah, good to have you in here. You know, it's an interesting game. It's so much has happened in the world of MMOs since this started. And the thing I really like about this game is it's like all the worst parts rolled into one of what MMOs are. But because of the combination of those things, it actually makes it one of the best, because it's still so simple, so basic. Even though they've added all this other stuff, it's still basically this, like, go in here and fight them with your auto attack if you're doing that. Maybe you get some spells and actually do something here and there. And by the way, I'm playing with the mouse because I'm doing this 99 style. I'm doing it first person. I'm playing it with the mouse. You know, I'm doing the window is scrunched down to kind of what it would have looked like, because we didn't have widescreen monitors in 1999. Playing on these like big CRTs that were squares with like a 680 by whatever. You know, it's a really tiny resolution, but it worked. and it was fun. I have so many good memories of this game back in the day. You know, I made so many friends. I had guilds, and I'd never experienced anything like this. Nobody had. This was just a brand new thing, and it was a whole lot of fun. It's great that it's still going. It's too bad that it's been modernized in a way that kind of took some of the fun out, like the bot armies and people selling things and chrono and stuff like that. But at the same time, those additions aren't all necessarily bad. It's actually nice in some ways. When you've been playing for a long time, it's nice to be able to have those boosts if you want to buy them. And if you don't want to buy them, you don't have to. And you can play this game for free. It used to be that you had to have a subscription. Initially, it was like, I'm going to say it was like $15, maybe $20 a month originally, and then the prices kind of changed as competition moved it around. But you could play it for free, and that was something that you never could do. When that happened, I don't know, 8 years ago, whatever it was amazing to me. I thought, oh my God, this game's free now? Now, if you want to play on the TLPs, that's not free. The TLPs are these time lock progression classic servers, but those ones you have to have a subscription for because they know the people that want to play on these will pay for them. Like me, right? The people that love I'm a little bit more obsessed with this game than most people are, I think. I think some people just kind of view this game as a commodity and it's something to do. For me, this was my life. Even though I was never super elite, right? I was never super crazy with this game. I never got to I never maxed out a character. Let's put it that way. I have never once in my entire life, been playing this for 24 years, hit the max level on any expansion. I got close. When Canark and Velius were the thing, I got into the low, I don't know, maybe it's even low 50s, but that was it. Once the levels took off, got to 120, I've never been past the 80s. Now, I'm working on my main character from back in the day. I'm trying to get him up to 120, but since this TLP came out, I've been sort of doing this, and also life is just crazy. I've been trading stocks, and that takes up a lot of my time. I got a kid. I got all this other stuff going on, so it's been interesting. But right now, I'm waiting for this dude to spawn. He's not really spawning yet, so I'm going to see if there's anything to pull out here while I try to just run my mouth a little bit, because that's what I do. Oh, get it, Dreadbone. Here we go. This thing is not... What is it calling to me? Oh, it's gray. Doesn't matter. I figured it would be. I should be looking at the thing. Yeah, there needs to be colors, right? The colors that just tell you everything, and that shut me in the door there. That's why I'm like down for a little bit. Yeah, there was an extended target window. There weren't little colors that told you what it conned. It didn't tell you what level it actually was, which is great. This is one of the additions that I love. Some of the stuff that they've changed from the beginning is amazing. Adding the level right there was great. Adding something between blue and green and making green... it was basically it would be even to you, and it would be blue for a huge amount of levels, and then you wouldn't get any experience from it. So what was the very bottom blue versus the green, which was no experience back in the day? You had no idea. Now there's like blue, light blue, green, gray. So there are levels that tell you, okay, this thing's way below you. So blue could have been like 10 levels below you, or it could be 1 level below you. You didn't really know. You just kind of had to guess. Oh, what do we got? Something's hitting me. Yes, there he is. There's the guy. A Shadow Knight. What is he calling? He is gray. That's good. All right. Well, I was hoping for a little bit better fight than that. Oh, I'm ducking. Stop ducking. Turn your attack on. Do this the way you're supposed to be doing it. It's a tight space. It's hard to see. So this guy does not have the sword, unfortunately. It would have been cool to actually get the sword. But this was the thing. You try to get to this guy and get the key to go into the lower level, and you'd be the real high level people at that point. Back in the day, if you were like level 20, oh man, that was over. You basically beat the game at that point. It was done. You'd see a level 20, be like, whoa, level 20, he's got armor and stuff. I've got cloth and maybe I got a tarnished weapon. I used to have a rusty weapon, but I did the little thing that made me put it in the forge, and now I have a tarnished weapon with 1 less delay on it. Very nice. Or a 0.1, whatever it was, 0.01 less delay. Something. Oh, that was another thing they added that I really like. The ratio that tells you the damage to delay, so you can see which weapon actually works better. And it's rated the way a casino would rate their machines, right? It's over time. So if you look at a machine that says it's going to pay back 92% or whatever it is, that means over a given period of time, the wins and losses will eventually average out to somewhere around 92% consistently. It doesn't mean it's always going to be that, but that's when they measure it and they do stress tests on it. It comes out to around that thing, and that's what the ratio is, as far as my knowledge. I could be completely wrong about that, but that's what it seems like has actually happened. I should probably snare this guy because he's probably going to run, and I really don't want him to pull a bunch of stuff that actually is difficult for me, because I had that one battle right before here that was actually kind of tough. But right now, trying to get this guy down. Oh, here he goes. He's running. Look at that. actually accomplish something. Man, the last time I went here, I got completely murdered by some skeletons, but it was funny because I recovered like 4 times before I actually died, which was amazing. And then a 5th time, I thought I was already dead, but I wasn't. The pathing just made everything run away, so that's kind of cool. All right, did I get anything from that? I have loot. Oh, look at this. Ooh, barbed arm plates. Is that something I can actually use? What? I got something. Look at this. What do I have? I have ringmail arm plates. Is this better? Do I have something better? Yes, it's better AC, and it has a little endurance and dex. Oh, I got something. Man, I want to be loud, but the kid's sleeping, so I can't really be loud. That's great. That's great. I'm going to take all this. Need, baby. Give me them keys. Give me them arm plates. Look at this. I actually got something that was worthwhile, and I forgot that these even dropped. Boom. Look at that AC. Went up 1. Nobody can stop me now, dude. 1 AC, it's over. I won the game with that 1 AC. That's why I love the beginning of the game. It's so much more fun to actually be able to get any little thing that helps you out, right? When you're first starting out and you get some cloth armor from a skeleton or something, oh, I love that feeling. That's the best part of the entire game. Doing that, going to the vendor, you saved up a plat and a half, and now you can buy a couple of things. Dude, I bought some rawhide. That's a little bit better weight than the other thing. So cool. All right, I have some keys. I can go a little bit farther. This guy's doing stuff, so I don't want to step on his toes. I'm going to go around him, head towards the entrance a little bit. And, well, maybe I can, you know what? I'll give the lower level a shot. Just see what happens down that lower level. I was mostly going for the key and hopefully some loot, and I did get that loot. Oh, look at that. Looks just like what I had, but I feel so much better about it. That made my night right there. You know, like that, just getting those arm plates. Oh, stupid thing. I don't want to do that. Whoa. Thought there was somebody fighting in this room. I guess not. Oh, I gotta fight 8 things now. Great. See, I hate these mummies. They're gonna rabies me. Oh, I got rabies. No, I don't have cure disease yet. Ooh, I'm gonna run. Screw this. I don't want to play this game. I'm running. I don't have a free-handed type train, so I'm training people. Ugh. I didn't even have my pet out. I just realized I've been doing this whole thing without my weak-ass pet. Knowing a pet that does... You know what, though? Like, that pet may be level 5, but... oh, these people. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, people. Oh, wait, it's encounter locked. We can't... I mean, on the way back, it can get them, though, I guess. Oh, these are high levels. These high levels? Yeah, 50. Get it. They'll take care of it. It's just like, all right, let other people take care of it. That's how I feel about it. I'm entitled now. I've been playing this for 24 years. I can train some people if I want. It's encounter locked. I'm telling myself, it doesn't matter. It's encounter locked. We're good. If I hadn't stopped a little bit to try to think about telling those people there was a train, then maybe they wouldn't have gotten so far up and it would have been better. So, all right, well, I got the arm plates. I got a key. That was great. I talked about some stocks, had some good trades this week and last week. That was great. Now I have to met again, so I have to sit around and talk about more stuff. Cool. All right, let me see. Get out here. Let's take a look at my guy. Looking good, looking good. Got those barbed arm plates. Feeling good. You know, that's the whole point of this game, is it's like you can forget about your problems and come in here and kill some skeletons and beat up some necros and stuff like that. It's nice because it's very simple. That's one of the things I like a mindless game, because anything that's too complicated when I'm trying to relax, it's like I don't want to use those parts of my brain. I've been using those parts of my brain all the time to get everything done. I just want to zone out and let that part rest and just have some fun. Do some repetitive tasks that hit my dopamine so that I feel good, and then I can feel like I accomplished something while I was having fun. And if you don't play that much, you actually kind of do accomplish something. But if you play all the time and you make it your life, then it's hard because you have these moments, these realizations that like, oh, wow, what I'm doing really is nothing right now. But if you use it responsibly, like any drug, because it's basically a drug, it can be positive, man. That's what I think about. That's what I think about most things. Like, that's why I'm kind of a centrist on a lot of stuff, because I feel like if you use things in moderation, if you look at arguments with a sense of humility and take things with a grain of salt, you can move through life a lot better, because you can take the bits and pieces that actually are relevant and apply them where they're needed. I think that's what's I don't want to say wrong, but that's what's difficult about people, about these arguments. Like, people are taking these little points and they're applying them to everything and then arguing that this is the way it's supposed to be. Ooh, somebody healed me a little bit. Or they cured my rabies. Yes, thank you. Thanks. Boom. Oh, are they buffing me too? What is that? I appreciate it. Very, very nice. Slow Fishbee, what's going on? Glad to have you in here. We're just hanging out, dude. I just got some check this out, bro. I was talking about my trades. I went in there. I beat a dude. I got some stuff with some stats. 7 AC, 5 endurance, 2 dexterity. I'm feeling good right now. Level 18 Shadow Knight with some actual gear. Dude, I found this at a vendor, right? I got some poison resistance. Like, that really matters very much. And then this mask. Ooh, got magic and poison. So I'm feeling good. I got three pieces that are actually worthwhile. And then these, I mean, cut their insignia rings, get some dexterity. That's pretty good. So for a noob, I mean, back in the day, this would have been cool. And that's why I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as back in the day because I just want to have fun. Where's the dude that healed me? He's gone. Should have put him on there. Thanked him for it. Appreciate that. It's really nice to get your rabies cured because that's like 50 minutes of waiting for that stupid tick to go away. But I'm back up and running again. So, all right, we're going to do one more thing before I dip out on this stream. I'm going to try and go down to that lower level, but I have a feeling this isn't going to work quite as well because this is where stuff starts to get a little bit higher. And I struggled on that battle right before the Shadow Knight when there were two things. It was like a Necro and a Skeleton, and they were both blue. They're beating me up a little bit because I'm in old school gear, dude. Most of my stuff is banded crap that I bought at the vendor, and there's a couple of like leather pieces too. So I'm still very early on in the game. My weapon's a fine steel spear. You know, I haven't really gotten too far with it. So let me get the key out real quick because I got to open this door again. Look at all these keys, dude. I got so many keys now just for this one dungeon that I'm probably never going to come back to as soon as I'm done with this. So I'm already mostly too high to get it. There's corpses everywhere. I wonder if I can get some loot out of this. Boom. I can. Should be trying to do this. Some of this stuff's actually worth money, and I am broke, so I want to get some money here. Necros. Give me that. Give me. I'll take that. Rusty. Oh, I was hoping it was bronze. Sometimes you get bronze out of those dudes, which is nice because that's a couple plat right there. There's somebody like a no meat or something like that on this one. Oh, whatever. I don't want to deal with it. It's like 8 copper. Not even worth it. Hey, Salome, what's been going on with you lately? I've had crazy stuff going on lately. I mean, I'm doing the podcast at a different podcast, the stream at a different spot. It's madness right now. So I'm doing kind of another quick one, and maybe next week I'll be doing the same thing. We'll just have to see. Beef Cookie. I like that name. I always take pictures of the people that have funny names because there's some good names, man. People, especially on Project 99. That's where the good names are, man. You go into that. Ooh, I gotta watch out. That is a drop. There's a pit right there. You'll fall right through the Pill Cosby. What? That's great. Pill Cosby. I can't believe I never thought of that. It's so obvious too. That's what he did. Like, why? How come I didn't think of that? Bro, these names. I love it. It's perfect. All right, let's see. We got some guards down there. Necro. Oh, that one's even to me. And a wisp? No, I don't even want to attempt this. That'd be too rough. These things will knock me down. All right, cool. I'm going to dip out and go. Oh, what is this guy? He's running by. Luckily, things are encounter locked, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay, I'm going to head back out. So, Salome Fishby, since you weren't here earlier, I had a couple of decent trades. I was looking at the market. I was trading some inverse spy plays, SPXS. God, I've been having so much trouble saying that today. It's like a 3x leveraged inverse spy play, but I had a feeling that we were going to pump, so I already had a few of these like cheap 14 strike puts that were, I mean, they went down from like 20 to maybe 10 or 11, and I just loaded up on these things when we were kind of hitting this bottom. Let me switch over to the thing. So we hit this top, the high volume area that I drew a long time ago, which I've talked about before. I mean, this high volume area has been such, and it's been so, people draw technical analysis with price only. I was talking to a guy who doesn't care about volume at all, and I was like, dude, I get it, like volume, when you're day trading, you try to look at it, be like, is this when I get in? Is it confirming? Because you always hear the traders try to be like, oh, it's volume. You got to look at volume. Well, volume doesn't do very much when you're trying to day trade. I mean, it's important to do that, and people have to look at it sometimes. But when you really sit down and like think, okay, well, what do you want the volume to do to enter and exit a trade? It's hard to really figure out what that is, because I've had traders say like, oh, when the volume goes up and the thing's pumping, then you get in right away. And I've done that and just didn't do anything. That was the top, and it's the same with the opposite. Oh, volume starts to die and you get it. Like, no, it just, that stuff never works for me. However, looking at volume profile where it tells you what prices had what volume, that has been helpful, because that tells me where most of the trades are. And most of the trades are in this area for this level right here. And if most of the trades are in this area, it means people are assessing their risk at this area, which means people will get in and get out of things quickly because this is where you're either going to be at break even, or they're at a profit point, or they're at a stop loss, or whatever it is. This is a very important point for a lot of people. And it's not just the retail traders. I'm talking about institutions. When you see these big volume areas, that means high liquidity, which means people with a lot of shares are actually able to trade. When there's not a lot of liquidity, like in these middle areas where volume is a lot lower, it's harder for giant amounts of shares to trade without moving the market like crazy. Now, when you see this was Friday, today. This was this nice squeeze. Let me zoom in a little bit. I mean, this is kind of what happens on Fridays sometimes when things are really volatile. We haven't been dropping. There's been a lot of bearish sentiment. People are the bears are frustrated. They're like, this shouldn't happen. This shouldn't happen. This shouldn't happen. Well, it's the short term, dude. Things still need to work themselves out. We're probably going to have some downward movement after this. We still have most likely 2 more rate increases, even with everything that's gone on. PCE came out today, and inflation looked slightly better. Came in like 0.1 less than the estimates, right? So not a huge beat, but a beat. That's something. And core was at the estimates, but it came down 1, and it came down from last time. And core is the important thing. So there's headline, which includes everything, and there's core, which excludes all the super volatile stuff. And core is the one that hasn't been moving that much. Headline's been dropping like crazy this whole time for a year straight. Since the CPI was at like 9, it's been consistently dropping pretty much every time. But core kind of, it dropped a little and sort of stopped. It's been staying steady because a lot of this stuff is the things we need to make other things. It's the materials, it's the chemicals, it's all the stuff that no matter what needs to get made. So it's hard to affect inflation in those areas, considering those things are much more needed. But if you look at the stuff that people don't need that much, or people can live without, it's like, let's say wheat is really high. Well, there are so many alternatives. You can get rice, you can get soy, you can get other grains, there's oats, right? Like, you don't have to have wheat for everything. You can look at a whole bunch of different things. In fact, cereals are usually a mixture of the different grains, the main grains, like rice, oats, and wheat. Like Cheerios, like mostly oats, but there's wheat in it, And if you look at these things, you'll see a mixture of things. So that kind of stuff can move a lot. Fuel can move a lot, but people can take alternative modes of transport. They can walk. There's in industries might have contracts that keep their prices stable while other ones are going, which is what's nice about some of these contracts. Like, people will buy futures contracts in oil, like airlines, for example. They go through so much fuel. They'll buy futures contracts in these things years in advance. And if you bought futures contracts in oil when it was low, you're sitting really pretty right now because you have a nice cheap price while everyone else is paying a bunch. So stuff like that can affect, the high volatile areas. There's the war, right? Russia's a producer. That's in the mix. Saudi Arabia is talking about cutting production so they can artificially pump the price. So that kind of stuff's going to move all over the place. But you still need shirts. You still need basic food. You still need materials. People need, transportation. Even if you take different transportation, you still need to build the thing. Like, whether it's a car, a bus, a train, a plane, a bike, they all need metal, right? They all need different components. So core is a lot harder to shrink than headline. And that's the thing we've been worrying about. And that's what people have been talking to Powell about. They're like, hey, Powell, core's not moving. What are you going to do about that? Powell's like, well, we can't affect anything directly, so we're just going to keep squeezing the market until things drop. Well, you know what has to happen? And this is the unfortunate truth. Jobs are going to have to be lost. People are going to have to lower demand because they can't afford it. Not because they don't want it, because people are going to keep buying it. As we've seen, people will go into debt to continue their lifestyle. No matter, once you get accustomed to a certain level, you don't want to drop. And that's the mindset of most people. They don't want to sit there and be like, oh, well, I was eating caviar. I don't want to go back to eating beans and rice. It's like, well, I don't know about caviar, maybe eating something better than that. But still, it's like, once you get accustomed to a certain lifestyle, you got a nice car, you don't want to go back to a beater. That's just the way it is. So people will do whatever they can to maintain their lifestyle. And that is keeping things going. So what will have to happen is that is going to have to crack. And it's a necessity is going to have to dictate that people's lifestyles change in order for the businesses to not have enough orders to continue ordering the stuff to make everything, or to have their tools for the services or whatever. So that stuff's going to have to go away. And the only way that goes away is if people lose jobs. It's a sad reality. The soft landing, hard landing that the Fed's talking about is basically how many jobs are going to be lost. Is it just a few or a lot? They're hoping it's just going to be a few. And that is a possibility. I think over time, if we keep things like this, investment and loans will eventually become due and companies won't have enough to pay all of it. So there's going to be scrambling. There's going to be default, things like that in certain areas. I mean, we've already seen a massive deflation in tech, but then what happened after that? Tech pumped again because the market pumped and because there's so like semiconductors are so important. AI came around and saved a bunch of tech. And there are also companies that don't want to let go of their workers because the last time they did that, they had to scramble to hire people, and they ended up having to pay them a bunch more because there was so much competition. That's what happened with the pandemic. We had like all these jobs lost and then quickly regained, but not everybody went back to the same jobs. There was some moving around because things weren't quite the same, and that caused competition, which drove wages up. And people were like, well, everybody else is making that much, so I'm not going to come back for the same. Some people were desperate and like, I'll take anything. But those are the people that probably got in there first and then saw everybody else negotiating and going, oh, if I had waited a little bit or I could have negotiated. Some people don't even think of that. I mean, back in the day, I wouldn't have thought of that. But now that's the kind of thing I think of. It's like negotiate everything. If you go in to buy something, make a big purchase, negotiate it. Don't be afraid. Most of the people that I know, like a lot of people, my family, my friends, they don't like confrontation. They don't want to do it. It makes them uncomfortable. So they'll just pay whatever and they'll get pressured into buying more. And it happens frequently. Doesn't matter how old they are. Like all age groups, the same thing happens to them because people just don't like uncomfortable conflict. But it doesn't have to be uncomfortable. I mean, people will try to pressure you. They'll try to use their body language and their dialogue and whatever to get you to buy certain things or do certain things, but you don't have to do them. And you find out, like, if you just say no, it's not like the thing is over. It's not like, oh, they're going to offer me something, I'm going to say no, and then I miss my chance forever. It's that scarcity mindset. No, you negotiate. You just negotiate a little bit. You say, like, okay, well, I mean, right now it's competitive. So I know I was getting paid, let's say $20 an hour, $25 an hour before, but I think because everyone else is getting 32, I should get somewhere around 32. Like I would say, give me 32. I'll tell you what, I'll accept 30 and some kind of a benefits package. How about that? You negotiate like that and they say, we don't want to do that. Okay, well then how about 29 in a benefits package? Or you say like, all right, you don't want to do it? Well, I've got 3 other offers over here. Maybe you don't, maybe you do. I don't know. It's not going to end the thing if you negotiate a little bit. Most people, they want that sale. They want to close the deal too. They don't like being uncomfortable either. They're trying to get this over with as quickly as possible. And if you're willing to drag it out, they might be willing to bend. A lot of people, I should say most people are willing to bend because they just want the discomfort to stop. It's like, all right, maybe I didn't make as much on this sale, but I made something and it's over and I can go home and sit in front of my PlayStation or whatever it is. So that's where we're in now, man. We're in this economy where we have the ability to negotiate. Jobs are they're not scarce, and there is some rise in unemployment, but it's not to the point that we can drop down. So enough people don't have the money to continue buying the things that are causing core inflation to stay where it is. So I'm going to run myself back to the East Common Lands Tunnel, and then I'm going to call the stream. So not a very long stream today, but just wanted to give you an update on everything. So had some nice trades. Went and got some arm plates in the game. That's a win to me. I'm having to do the stream at a different spot, so everything's all weird, and I'm ready to be done. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. Oh man. It was nice to make those trades, but at the same time, it's like I had so much. Having a bunch of stuff going on in your life is kind of helpful with trading because then you don't sit there and worry about it. You'll look at it a little bit because there's so many times where I had a little bit of a gain and I dumped out because I thought I don't want to lose this gain. Scarcity mindset, right? And also experience. That's just what happens over time. Like you lose a lot, and then when you finally have some gains, you really don't want to give them up. And they're usually not the kind of gains that you hope for, and you can get more than that. So you just think about it, you stress yourself out, and you eventually dump out, and then it moves up, and you're like, I could have made that. So having stuff to distract you helps in those times. And the way I see it, if you make a little bit of money and you have multiple contracts, like back when I was trading single contracts or maybe 1 or 2, you can't really take profits on partial contracts. You can sell parts of shares now. You can sell individual shares at whatever number you want, so you can take partial gains if you hold shares, but with options, not so much. So I wanted to make plays where I can hold multiple options just so. Oh, this is the one with nobody in it. I'm gonna go to the other one real quick. So it's gonna be pick/pick, and go to the one with 154. So that's the other thing that's different now. They didn't used to have different instances of each zone. So if you type /pick, you can go to a different instance if there aren't enough or there are too many people. But anyway, so kind of forgot what I was saying, and I knew that would happen as soon as I went on a tangent. But that's the way it goes with me, man. I just kind of roll with everything that I say until I get tired and don't know what to do. So the common lands, this is where I want to be with my other, going this way. Let's go to the East Common Lands Tunnel where everybody is and hang out there for a bit and then quit for the day. Oh, people are selling Chrono for 5K now. See, this is another interesting part. The economy of the game is interesting to me now. I never thought about economics before I started trading, but trading got me into economics, which is super interesting. People think it's so boring, but it's actually one of the best things you can take. Especially if you hate money, if you're like me and you are completely anti everything, money's the root of all evil and blah blah blah. I mean, it's not so. That's the way I used to think, and now it's not. Money is not the root of all evil. It's the corruption in people. Like any system you have can have corruption. It doesn't matter. It's like money. People will do things for money, so they're assigning the blame to it. It's like these same arguments over and over. It's always the people, dude. Whatever the argument is, it's the people, not the thing. The thing can be good. The thing can be bad. It's what you do with it. However, having a system that's corrupt is the thing. The system, yes. The money, no. So the economic, I used to hate money and think it was evil, so I didn't pay attention to economics or anything like that. But now that I actually understand that it's a necessity to move things around, it's like, how do we distribute things? How do we deal with resources? How do we deal with services? How do we deal with everything? Well, money's a way to do that. It's an intermediary. So you don't have to go to the coal. Not everybody has to go to a coal mine and mine a bunch of stuff, or go to a diamond mine and risk their life to try to get something, or go hunt some crazy animal that maybe took a piece of your flesh off, or you lost a finger, or you lost an arm trying to kill this animal so you can have some meat and a pelt, right? It's like, no, you can make money doing something, and then you can use the money to trade somebody else that got the pelt, so you don't have to risk it. It's an intermediary. It's a way like, hey, I can make a shirt out of this skin that you bought, and you're like big and strong and fast and good, but I'm missing a hand because I did dumb stuff or I just was unlucky. So I'll make the thing, you hunt the thing. We have an intermediary to make sure that the system works. There you go. So anyway, the economy of the game is interesting, and it's kind of like trading in some ways, because there are chrono, which allows you to have 30 days of subscription to the game. And it's an in-game item, which they didn't used to have. And when these TLP servers start out, nobody has money, so these chronos are dirt cheap. You're not going to be able to buy it, but if you have one, it's not going to be worth it to sell anything. So as time goes on, that chrono gets more and more expensive. And it originally starts out at a few hundred, and then it goes to like 1,000. Right now it's at 5,000. It's been moving up a little bit. We got another person looking for 4,800 for a chrono, another person for 5,000. So it's got its own economy, and that's the thing that's interesting, is no matter what system you put in, no matter where it is, the same principles will happen. Like, people will buy based on what they want. They'll demand, supply, all that stuff works the same way in the game that it does elsewhere. The only difference is in game, people are a little bit more lax with it, so they're more willing to dump money on things. If you dump all your money, you're not going to lose your house, right? But in real life, if you dump all your money, you're going to lose your house. So there is some difference in a game versus reality. But it's interesting because those factors still play into everything. So I like watching what happens with the economy and just seeing what's going on. So right now, a lot of these people are trading. This is just where people like to hang out until we end up having the bazaar, which is cool. But at the same time, I love the camaraderie of the tunnel. It's a place to meet people. It's a place to hang out. It's fun to actually trade person to person and have to negotiate with people and talk to them, because that isn't as bad. When you're negotiating in real life, you're looking someone in the eye, and your physiology is reacting to theirs, and their physiology is reacting to yours, and body language cues can set things off, and blah, blah, blah. With this, it's just text, So obviously people can say things over text that are misconstrued, and that happens all the time. That's why we have a bunch of arguments. But at the same time, it's like negotiating is easier because I'm not looking you in the eye. I could be sitting there jacking off for all you know, but we're going to trade. And it's like, hey, he's just, in your mind, the person that you're trading with is just sitting there trading with you. It's not like they've got a vibrator in their ass and they're screaming, right? Like it's just how it goes, man. This is how it goes. So I think that's a good thing to end it on, talking about vibrators in the ass and screaming while you're trading with people, because I think that happens a lot, right? There are a bunch of traders that are here just like, oh, I'm going to sell some stuff. I'm going to have a couple of orgasms when people buy it, right? Yeah, that's how life works. But all right, so that was interesting. I had a good week. I got some armor in this little stream, which was amazing. I love that. Last time I went to Befallen, I got my ass kicked, so it's a nice change of pace to actually go in there and accomplish something. Originally, it was just going to be kill that Shadow Knight because I wanted revenge for dying there last time, but now I actually came out with something legitimate. Very cool. I might use those arm plates for a long time. I'm not going to go crazy with this character, so anyway. All right, if anybody has any questions or any comments or anything like that, let me know. Sloan Fishby, if you're still hanging around, we're going to be doing our thing next week, hopefully. I'll have to talk to you about it off stream. I've got a whole different situation than I was expecting because something kind of came up. So the dynamic might be a little bit different, but I'm still down to do our stream and everything we were talking about. So, all right, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for hanging out. It's been a nice night. I really appreciate it. If you're trading, stay safe. It's a crazy market right now. I mean, I'm mostly in cash, but I have some trades on now. I'm a little bit more in on things than I was a bit ago. But we've had this nice pump, so I wouldn't be surprised if we had a retracement. So be careful. You know, make your trades wisely. Don't go overboard with anything. And if you're not doing well, back up. If you are doing well, lean into it a little bit, not a lot. Don't get overconfident. That's the easy way to send yourself back to the other side to where you're losing all the time. You get overconfident, you lose, you start not thinking about it, you want to make it back, etc., etc. I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. Have a good night.